still trying to make you rotate.
Hi, good evening. We had an interesting New Year's, and then with all the electricity going out and everything, but we're still here talking about no violence here at HOT, here our Tears in the South Bend, Michiana community in South Bend, Indiana. HOT, here our Tears, has been in the community for 8 years. 9 November, So it's just amazing that we are still in the community and we're still talking about ways to connect in our community. We have some very, very wonderful people in our community, and I love the platform of having people come and speak about what is domestic violence, forms of domestic violence, and how it affects us on our daily lives. Today I have Gwen Knowlton, and she is a coach in our community. Very bright energy, and the inspiration she gives when I first met her, it was just amazing. She's talking about all this healing and how we can heal ourselves, and how to get engaged in making the steps to do that. And I thought, wow, I have to talk to this lady on a one-on-one, and I have to set an appointment with her. She is a healing coach. She speaks about healing. She has a speaking program about healing, and she's been doing this for quite a while, and she knows what she's talking about. So if you can go to www.coachwithgwen.com.
www.coachingwithgwen.com.
Yes, you can find out more information about what she's doing, why she's doing it, and how it will fit in your life. So tell us a little bit more about you, Gwen.
Okay, so I am a trauma, neuro, and healing master coach. I specialize in breakthroughs. So that's that's my thing. I specialize in getting people rapid breakthrough transformation. When you've been in trauma so long that it kind of usurps everything that you try to do. Mm-hmm. And it's not about what it's about the patterns of behavior that you've created because of the trauma, and then we can't figure out why we can't get out of those patterns of behaviors, why we draw the people we do, why we do the things we do, why we can't leave things and people that we know are not good for us. Yeah. And so we go into those places. My specialty is hearing what's not being said and seeing what they can't. Okay. And so we do what I affectionately call root work. Oh, okay. We don't have time to sit and just talk about this, right? We don't have time to dissect it. You've already done that. We need to go to the awarenesses that you haven't gotten. Mm-hmm. You need to learn why your brain did what it did. When we dissect that, then you have the ability and the capacity to tell yourself the truth. Oh. Because the thing about trauma is we're all created to be in a space of equilibrium. Okay. And so what that means is your body is created to make sense of everything that happens to it so that it can protect you, right?
In that trauma?
At all times.
At all times.
In anything. Well, what we'll do is we'll make sense of something, but it can be a lie. So what I mean by that is you have a child, right? And the child grows up in an abusive family. Okay. That child will grow up a lot of times to think they're worthless or not worthy of a certain level of respect because that's the message that was given to them. They don't have the mental capacity in that space of trauma to be able to say, my parent is mentally ill. Oh. So in order to make sense of it, well, something's wrong with me. That makes it make sense. And because that can make it make sense, that's what they'll settle on, and that's how they'll move from there out.
So do you think that's like a guilt that child builds up, or is it fear? Is it a combination? Or
it's a complete brain pattern.
Yeah.
People don't realize that your brains and your behavioral patterns are like an iceberg. It looks like it's really big on top, and you think it's this mountain, but it's 4 times as big underneath, and that's your subconscious. Your subconscious brain is always going to try to keep it out of danger, even if it's not keeping you out of danger. It's going to pull you back to what you know, so that way you have an environment where you feel comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable. So that's why a lot of people get into patterns of abuse, because it's like, I'd rather take the devil I know than the one that I don't.
Okay.
And your brain will shift you there.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to teach you how your brain worked, how you got to where you got, what patterns of thinking, what lies you told,
Mm-hmm.
to make it make sense. Dissect those and put the truth on it, and teach them what truth in your body feels like. We actually digest emotions, and a lot of people don't know that. Like, when you're experiencing something, you're eating it just like you do food. You're taking it in just like
so
you
it's
do
not
food.
Good for you.
No, and it affects everything about you.
And it's wild how some people think, well, just abuse is actually hitting, but they say sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, that's not true.
Biggest lie ever told.
So yeah,
biggest lie ever told.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
So when I think about this trauma and how it sits in the body and how it can like manifest, does it even mess with the cells? I mean, what's the neural part of that? How does it get in your body, and you're taking this trauma in every day? You're living on edges. You're living with this predator every day, and you're getting this feed of, you're no good, you're not worthy, you're not valued, you're not this, you're not going to be able to make it without me. You're hearing that every day. What does that do?
It's one of the number one causes of autoimmune disease.
Oh.
Scientifically, what's happening is water has memory, and people know and accept that. Like, people don't even question that. Water has memory. We've seen it time and time again. What are we mostly made of?
90 what percent?
Like, it's about 92% water.
Yeah.
Men, I think, are a little bit more than women, if I remember correctly, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, we are predominantly water.
Yeah.
Our muscles, tissue, cells all have memory, and what happens when you take in experiences, traumatic experiences, and you don't know how to process them, it actually gets stored in your body. Now, think what happens when you eat bad food and you don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It can cause a really bad situation in your body.
Yes.
It's no different when it's your emotions. And what we know scientifically, this is where I get all excited, because I'm that nerd. Like, I don't even try to hide that I'm that nerd, y'all. I'm that nerd, okay? And what happens is, just like you take aspirin for a headache,
right?
Okay, it's because the chemistry matches the makeup of that part of your brain to be able to unlock healing, right? So think of it like a lock and key mechanism.
Okay.
If we go deeper, we look at the chemistry. If we go deeper, we look at the energetic makeup, frequency and vibration. All of this makes up chemistry. That is why I don't take Pepto-Bismol when I have a headache. It's not the right chemistry or frequency or vibration to be able to cause the healing power in that, right? Well, all of your organs, muscles, tissues, cells all have this different energetic number that we can actually measure scientifically.
Wow.
This is not just some metaphysical mumbo jumbo. Okay, this is literally, we got science to back this up. What we know there are certain emotions that have energetic numbers to them. Everything you experience, think of it, everything that you take in, every piece of abuse has a sound wave to it. It has a frequency. It has a vibration to it, right? That matches certain parts of your muscles, tissue, cells, organs. What we know is that the gallbladder houses sabotage and submission. So like when you're bullied a lot, when you're abused a lot, we'll see a lot of dysfunction in people in their gallbladder. The kidneys house fear. The liver houses anger. And so when we see deep-seated patterns of alcoholism, when we see deep-seated patterns of uncontrolled diabetes, when we see deep-seated patterns of things like bipolar, anger management issues, these are literally epigenetically passed on anger cells.
Yeah.
They literally...
So wait, are you saying passed on if I would have a child?
Absolutely.
Of course. And if a child is in the home and they're seeing this, I'm passing it on. So...
It doesn't even have to be like, it can epigenetically be passed on.
So I'm being abused. It's been 2 years I'm with this guy, and all of a sudden I stopped cleaning. All of a sudden I stopped communicating with my family. All of a sudden I'm on the couch and I'm balled up and I'm hurting. And I'm withdrawn. So I'm not socializing. And all I'm getting is this, and a punch or two and a kick or two. So what you're telling me, is that messing with my my vibration? Is that messing with my of course my psyche? So I mean, there's a lot of things that it messes. It just not good.
Exponentially, it's completely. You will feel it in your body.
Yeah. So like when my cortex